All right, so here I am. This is Marguerite Rigoglioso. It's Thursday, March 27th, 2025, and I'm in ceremony with Lady Cannabis, who is my star ally, my ally to the stars. And through her, I have been able to transmit Pleiadian energy. And I really haven't been shown where my information has been coming from all these years, but I am being shown now that it's quite a bit Pleiadian, if not all. I'm a Pleiadian ambassador. I'm just being reminded of that. I have had an inception point in the Pleiades, as Magenta Pixie's White-Winged Collective of 9 calls it. I also have an inception point in Andromeda. Those are the two with whom I feel most connected. And people are awakening now to what their inception point is, as Magenta Pixie has channeled in her. It was like a blue star, I'll see what it is, because it's important for everybody to have that information. So I highly recommend this playlist on the Magenta Pixie, Blue Star Solstice. It's from 2016, but it's like it was yesterday because it was, and it's today. It's already today from that date. And so we are all awakening at whatever time is particularly right for us to our star inception points. And so the Pleiades are very much asking me to have my next book be a sharing of the histories that I have discerned worldwide about the Pleiades and the role of the seven sisters as the seven mothers of the world. All that is embedded in the Greek material, for example, and others, and for me to also include some of my own direct transmissions from about the Pleiades in that book, perhaps. Anyway, the seven mothers of the world, the Pleiades past, present, and future, I think might be the title. So send me good blessings on that one, everybody, because it makes my work easier. The more you send positive blessings my way for that, and thank you. The Pleiades, what they would like to say to everyone is that the ages have shifted. And that we are now in a more positive age. Now, this takes a bit for me to really open up my oracle to receive this level of information. So let me see if I can assist the Cannabis as she assists me, because it seems, big information, big news. And I don't mean to come across as like the world oracle who announced, the era has changed. But I'm just one voice pointing this out. I did see something on the internet that it was the end of the Kali Yuga, March 2025, and I was like, well, and I was just joking with a client, shouldn't that be on the front of the New York Times? The Pleiades, they're funny, all right? We haven't said it, but we have our inception points in the Pleiades as well, Gloria and Sylvia. So to get back to business, we're at the pivoting of an age, and the age has pivoted. We are on the other side. And take that to mean whatever it means for you in your life and in the life of your soul matrix, your connection to Source Creator. The age has shifted and we are on the positive rise now. So everything we do in the positive will be amplified. And it's okay for us to let go of some of those negative picturings, imagings, worryings, the way it is, that's just the way it is type thinking, or that's just how my relationship with so-and-so is, you know. They're advising us to pick up the pace in the positive visioning, because first of all, it's much more pleasurable for you to vision positive things than negative, and second of all, it has a real effect in the universe. But we all get lazy, or we succumb to the programming that, well, it doesn't really do anything, but it does. And the minute you start having these internal shifts, I mean, it is as these beautiful oracles have been saying for years. Sine Roman, the other woman who channels Abraham, Esther Hicks, you know, these have been important teachings that we want to kind of open with the new rung of the spiral. And that being also that we can work with the fairies with this. I just had a client session where they came in a big way, and they said, oh my goodness, we're here to help with manifestation, and the leprechauns literally are here to help with the money creation through your golden light visualization, which will have an effect into your energy body and out into the world to draw more of it to you, the gold, in the form that you translate it to. It could be a car, it could be a house, it could be a bank account, it could be, you know, other things as well, bountiful friendships, right? All of these things, the relationship with your aligned partner, all of these things. And when I look at the idea of using medicines to do rapid healing, they say, yes, you know, all medicine is not made alike, and you have your plant mixture varieties, and you have now some of your synthetic varieties, and just use your intuition about what's right for you, because that is going to be the journey that you are meant to have. And there's nothing intrinsically wrong with any that are made through consciousness and love. Chemists, what have you. When they're made through other people who have other agendas, like your methamphetamine and so forth and so on. So we have a tale of two medicines, the MDMA and the methamphetamine, and they both have a similar thing in the title, and you might look at the MDMA and go, oh, my gosh. But not so, you know, but everybody has to make their own decision right now. And so the Pleiades are just showing me that we're all being encouraged to open our consciousness and come to the vibration where we can access them, access our inner knowing, access connectivity with our ancestors. This is how humans used to walk upon the planet, in the earth, but in the stars at the same time. Of course, because the earth is a star, which is why Z has chosen the name Earth Star, because she understands this seeming duality. So when I ask the Pleiades, who am I channeling in particular, or who am I receiving energy from in particular, what I get is mine is the Electra group, the Electra world, where Electra was a great master, a great female being, who came to the earth and is connected with us, the Electra grouping. In Neil Gar's Portal to Ascension, there was a woman who was from the, I think it was, I'll have to think through it again. I can't remember. No, okay, wait. Taugete, the Taugete group. And there are some, when you look at the Seven Sisters names, and there are even more than the 7 names. There were other names that were in the Greek tradition, but I just ignored them because these were the main ones. But what they're showing me is there were more than actual 7 women who came down, but they represent the worlds or the colonies. 7 colonies came down, but there could have been more than one female being and more than one woman who came to connect with humans and share their DNA. So they came into human form. So they're good about, I mean, all beings can come into human form, no matter who they are or what they are. And when they realized that many beings from other systems were coming in here and creating hybrids of great suffering, they knew they had to come in and give us a large portion of what we're calling their DNA, their energy signature, their energy signature, okay? So they've been doing that, and they came in and brought virgin seed from themselves to the planet, and then that virgin seed went around and would connect with wives or husbands. And then the DNA would be shared that way. And Mother Mary really is part of the Pleiadian mission. It's not really the other way around. At first I thought, the Sophia Christos is the larger force. But, well, what I get is that the Marys they can come through any star system and any mission according to where you are with them. So you can call them through Ceres, you can call them through Arcturus, you can call them through Lyra, you can call them through anywhere. And I happen to be, and William Henry and others happen to be calling Mother Mary in, and the Marys in through the Pleiades. So it's a very strong connection. Yeah. They've been around. They've been exploring these star systems for quite some time, and they are intimately connected with humanity, the human Earth. They are our mothers. They did lend us their DNA. We are part of them. Just like the dragons that hybrided are part of the dragons from the other realms that Adam Apollo talks about. And so they feel us. And so they are intimately woven in with us. It is tapestry. And so when we hurt, they hurt. And in a way they wanted it that way so that they would hear the call of suffering and work to transform suffering in reality, because it's an awful, agonizing kind of thing. And we've had, those of us on Earth have had many different forms of suffering as almost a regular way of life, when it used to be complete opposite, where living was a pleasure. Living was not difficult. And this is what we're going back to after a long, long journey in this Kali Yuga. And the ship is turning. So we can make better use of our visualization and our positive visioning capacity, feeling what we wish to feel, feeling it in our emotions, setting an intention for your day. Today, mine was very much love and being of service. And that is what I am manifesting today. So there's just an encouragement from the Pleiades to pay attention to them, either directly or through oracles such as myself. Filter it all through your own system, your own interpretation, and find the ways for you to raise your vibration so that you can connect with this information directly. That's what this message is all about today. Really, the awakening of your sight, your knowing, your consciousness, your extra sentience, your connectivity with the Akashic records, and with Sophia Wisdom, who, with connection to Sophia Wisdom, you know what to do every day, all day. You are wise. You are a wise sovereign. So you make the best decisions for yourself that are most aligned with your greatest good, and you are shown the clarity of how to do that, how to take your steps without creating further karma. Let's say, even if people become upset, you might not be creating karma, right? So we're all learning how to communicate clearly and effectively, how to manifest what we want in life. And there is a very strong connection of Earth to the fairies, the Fae. I was shown that in a client session where we were both shown our fairy Pleiadian hybrided nature. And we can be operating as fairy or Pleiadian or as a hybrid. That was an interesting thing that we received. Each one has a kind of a different flavor, but connecting in with the fairies, who are just very allied with the Pleiades. I mean, in a sense, it's like the fairies are the children of the Pleiades, if you want to consider the Pleiades the she. So the Pleiades are the children, are the mothers of the fairies, and they're the mothers of the humans, and we were one until we split, until we were split. But even that was a choice, a willing choice. For this great learning, for this great disconnection, we all initiated to come to the feeling of disconnection from Source. And this plane is a very, very good place for that learning. Not feeling that bereftness, that, my God, why have you forsaken me? That we even feel like Jesus went to the nadir. Okay? Even Jesus felt disconnected. Wow. And he is Source, just like we all are. But the Pleiades are saying that we are all connecting. We are opening our connection back up with Source. And one of the things to do is to make sure that you remove the plug, the cord, the squid that goes to your ultimate major chakra. Definitely do that. You can do it with another person. You can do it with me. And fill it in with, that's at the base of your skull, kind of top of your neck, where, as in that film, they show it accurately. And so to disconnect from the negative matrix so that you can partake of the positive Eden, right? You want to disconnect, and you want to put in place of that, in that chakra, platinum, diamond, and sapphire light. That's Pleiadian light. All right, so to anybody who's feeling called to do that, you can do that. It will be very helpful for you, so that you become a receiver and a transmission station, so to speak, of Pleiadian wisdom and energy, if this is what you want. So I'm asking them, I would like to explore more my dual conception or inception points as the White-Winged Collective Consciousness of 9, who I believe our Arcturian discuss through Magenta Pixie. So what's the relationship of my Pleiadian inception point as a soul, as a pinch break off of Source, and then in Andromeda, because I feel like, they're saying these are different octaves of myself. It's just like different octaves of myself. So I have a pinch off that's like fifth to seventh dimensional in the Pleiades, and then I have what I describe as a ninth dimensional self. But it's all part of my soul and self. And I'm asking them now about, well, did I have inception points or just lives in the Zeta Reticulan zone, let's say? Okay? Let's just say. Well, yes, of course you had inception points there as well. Soul matrices that came into being through those portals, as well as through the Pleiades and the Andromedans. And so now I'm looking at, well, you know, I definitely have some feelings about that from the human perspective. And so they're having me look at it like, well, what the Pleiades are saying to me is befriend everything. And that's interesting, because they're saying that's what unity consciousness isn't. It's not just about unity among the nice people. That's so funny. It's unity among everything. Allowing, accepting these beings to be. But they're only there to teach you how to release them. They're not. Your path is not to annihilate these beings. It's just to become sovereign from them, so to speak. That's part of your awakening into multidimensionality, is being able to see and understand the attack that has happened on planet Earth, that has infiltrated through abuse and sexual abuse and traumas of all kinds. It's to be able to understand that this was a learning, a deepest level underworld learning. It's not so much that we're a prison planet, but we became an underworld way station, if you will, portal. And now that the tide is turning, the ship is pivoting, the age is shifting, we can move back into the new earth energy and reality from a very long collective time in the underworld, really. And there's something happening in my field where, you know, I think I may be writing a little bit of this in this week's blog, that I've reached the shore from this. So I went through a very, very bad passage from particularly 2012 through now. Very, very big, difficult passage. And I am coming out the other side. You don't stay in anything forever. And the good outweighs the bad. The time in the good does outweigh the time in the challenging. Persephone is in the upper world 2/3 of the year, and only in the underworld 1/3. So, you know, we've got a whole 2/3 time now, era that we're looking at to have enjoyment and co-create New Earth, a pleasant place to be. Earth, a pleasant place to be. You know, that's going to be the PR sticker that they're going to put in Sirius and this and that to get converts to come over here to help with the project. Earth, a pleasant place to be. You know, that's more than what it's been. And the images that we're seeing in media and this and that and within ourselves and our relationships, it's still all roiling around, but we're in a place where the seas are beginning to calm. You know, and Mother Mary is that star of the sea. She is the star that you can follow when you're on the roiling ocean, whether it's placid or whether it's deadly. And she's been there. That's why she's the star of the sea. And, you know, it just feels wonderful to get to solid ground again. And interesting how the metaphor is, it's not a star metaphor, it's an earth metaphor, right? We need the grounding onto the earth realm. We need to restore our magical abilities to co-create Eden, that's the next part of our initiation, something that I received also through this client, where we are now moving our energy from dealing with trauma, healing from trauma, this healing from the negativity and creative ways to do that, into now the dawning, the awakening, all of us having our consciousness reopened, our access to the inner dimensions reopened. And so then the phase with and after that will be focusing on, oh, well, then what do we want to create? Once we're reopened and we have connection to source and we are resourced with love, we have wisdom, we have good means of communicating with people. Strife energies have been integrated back into simply passion and doingness in the third chakra. Then we can move forward with tremendous creativity, just seeing things materialize before our eyes. And, obviously there are many great masters who have shown us the way that this is possible. Yeshua, the Marys were doing this. The apostles were doing this. Sri Kaleshwar has come back in that lineage, and he showed people, it's in his books, that he brought, living beings back to life. I mean, he was just showing the way. He was only here for a temporary time because he wouldn't have been able to stay longer without getting caught in the machinery down here in, not good ways. But he's there. We can access him. So he's an ally, right? And none of these are about becoming the follower of. No, these are just resources, right? And these lineages can anchor way back, but it doesn't mean you have to be enchained to them. It just means they're available as a resource for us. Okay, so many of us have many different teachers we've connected with, through whom we are receiving transmissions, and many of us are developing as teachers our ability to support, transmit to others, help others. And there are many of us who are awakening to the Pleiadian understanding, the Andromedan understanding, and many who are awakening to the understandings elsewhere, and of course I also have that Orion understanding as well. I've incarnated deep into the heart of the, shall we say, enemy, dark forces, whatever, I was there, and I still am working out my shame about that. Even though I know better intellectually, but I'm still, I need to release that. I need to release that shame. Understanding that I was doing reconnaissance everywhere. I was collecting information. I needed to know the best of the best and the worst of the worst, so to speak, in this extremely polarized duality dimension. And now, with that knowing, with that wisdom that comes from that knowing, it's a grace, it's a granting. I and others can move forward into this new epoch of light. From the Kali Yuga to whatever it is next. That's where we're going. We are all awakening. We are all being able to see at the level from which I'm transmitting to you and beyond. And many of us do. Many of you do. And that's wonderful. This is just my contribution to this pathway today. I'd like to see if the Pleiades have anything else they would like to offer before I turn my attention to perhaps other things, perhaps receiving information personally for myself. Yeah, they're just encouraging everybody to learn about the Pleiades through some of the courses that I offer. And there are some that are going to become available through a new structure that we're doing for transmitting information to people. And then there is, of course, the Marian Magdalene priestess training, in which is woven together the connection of the Pleiades and the Marys, and that's only going to deepen as my understanding deepens of their connection. I feel like I've barely scratched the surface. Yeah. Anything else, dear Pleiades, dear electrons? Since I'm from Electra, no, we'll call them the Electras. They don't want to be a Tron, they want to be a Tra. Electra, contacting you, the founder of Troy. Yes, these are deep lineages, deep colonizations that attempted to keep the vibrations high and were under siege, had to make compromises just to make it in the 3D realm if we were going to stay here, and then things all got diluted, and the oracle Christina Nartumid is very good with her oracle about the Pleiades, or about, let's say, the Amazons and how they're related to Troy and how they're related to the lineages back through Avalon and the Pleiades and so forth. And Avalon is another seeding of the Pleiades. And so, okay. So what's Olympus and what's Shambala, let's say? And they're saying, well, Olympus is a different zone than Avalon, and it really had a mixing of types of beings that was very difficult. Some Pleiadian energy and some reptilian energy, quite frankly, and that was Olympus. And if I look at Shambala, all right, what is Shambala? Shambala is the doorway to total paradise, the total realm of pure joy and bliss. And we can make it a stop on the way to bliss. Is you can go to Shambala, and there was a channeler who received that the Delphic oracle, Delphi, namely the rock of the Sibyl, is a portal to Shambhala, and it is, and they have it roped off now, but I was able to sit on it for a time when I turned 50, actually, July 7th, 2012, if you can believe that dating, 7/7. I was able to sit on it and open my Shambhala portal. I didn't really even know what was happening fully, and I think his name is Richard Leviton, and boy, did I give him a hard time. Wow, I mean, yeah, I gave him a really hard time. Anyway, I've given a lot of people a hard time in life, and I don't know if it was perfect as it was, but now I'm like in a place of not giving people a hard time. So the Pleiades are just saying that, the personal is the spiritual. It's all part of the awakening. It's all part of the healing. It's all part of the shift out of the Kali Yuga into what? The next Yuga or paradise realm. And that we can keep envisioning Avalon Shambala. These are code words. I did go up to Mount Olympus, literally. And it turns out it's not just one mountain, it's numerous. And I received a warning oracle there, I must say. And luckily, things that I thought would benefit me did not work out there, but I was shown the birth and the death of the enterprise, which did end up happening, because the end of the enterprise that I was wanting to get involved in did kind of crash and burn in a not good way. That still has some collateral damage going on. So, okay, I understand. Dodged a bullet there, So we're all just doing our best. And even if I had not dodged that bullet, I would have dealt with it, right? I mean, this is the thing. It's just a different flavor of experience. And what we want to do is we want to find that golden thread, that golden path, that golden brick road, right? To create our best life going forward, starting now. And on into our other lives and our parallel lives, past lives, future lives. So this is where we're going. We literally are driving into major co-creation. So we want our creations to be good. Julie Belfer had received the information on the inner planes, I think from Osiris. You're creating worlds. Make sure they're good ones. And that was for a specific person she was to deliver it to. And I got the message too, I'm creating worlds with Mother Mary. I'm creating the world of Mother Mary through my books, a new world of Mother Mary. Many people have been creating a new world of Mary Magdalene. And as we create that magnanimous, amazing world, we move into it. So we become empowered. So it is literally a collective activity. So that's what we're doing, and that's why we talk about this information in groups, because we encourage one another into these new realities. It's why I have the Mary and Magdalene Priestess training, to help people open up into this new, old, authentic, sovereign virgin of the woman, sovereign virgin of the woman, sovereign version of the woman, okay? So there's a very big awakening that's happening here. It's just continuing. And of course, the men are working in their own way. And we're all activating one another. So we allow for these activations. It's going to get easier. So we do not need to be continuing to repeat the scripts in our head of the negativity. Well, he did this, and reliving all the anger and the events and things like that. You can start letting that go. Letting go of the repetitive thought forms that you think are protecting you somehow, but they're not. They're just keeping both of you locked into that reality. When you can release and start creating, opening to other parts of your reality, other aspects of yourself, new versions of yourself, literally, and your other person can do so as well. It gives them the opportunity, should they wish to, and they have perfect free will, they may or may not go there. So, it's a very exciting time for us on Earth, even as it seems to be one of the most scary. The light is always the brightest where the darkness is. The darkest dark has the brightest light on the other side of it, right? That's what we want to realize. And as we do this healing, that polarity gets less and less it gets less and less extreme, as the white-winged collective consciousness of 9 say. It moves from good and evil to love and light, right? As we heal, as we go through the portals into the higher dimensions, into the deeper dimensions. So that's what we're doing. We're all being invited to do this. And I'm just asking the Pleiades, the Electras, and anyone else from the Pleiades, is there anything else they would like to transmit? Well, they're saying now, all right, dear, open to become the Andromedan oracle that you are. Alrighty, I will do so. And they say that you've already been given a portal ticket from those women in Mount Shasta, your name, as Ajandra Terra Nova. So if you inhabit your identity as Ajandra Terra Nova, in your Pleiadian incarnation, your dove, that's why you were granted that name, that initiatory spiritual name, and I go by that sometimes at Seven Sisters. I sign these blogs from Love Dove, right? Or, and they're saying, okay, now move into Ajandra, your Ajandra self. It's just a metaphor, a conduit to support your connectivity with the Andromedans. It's your Andromedan self, your Andromedan being, plant, if you will. And so as Andromeda, looking at Andromedan messages today, I greet these beings. This family, they seem a little bit farther off to me than the Pleiades. And they're like, yes, we are in a different dimensional realm. Astute of you. You've intuited that from the beginning. And it's funny, when I look at the Andromedans, I see one of those people in Star Trek that had the really large bald heads that protruded, and they would speak telepathically. And that's what I sense or see when I sense the Andromedans. It's as though Gene Roddenberry and those people were creating the image of the Andromedans. They just have really big kind of heads, and they protrude out like it's if you take our brain and skull and just extend it out in all the places where there are bumps. It's like, okay, that's where I'm seeing. Okay, be that as it may. They're saying that's just a metaphor whereby you can step into understanding our energy. So use whatever's useful to you. Yes. All right, Andromeda, which is also vast, a vast realm of stars, galaxies, planets, intelligences, black holes, white holes. Even within their own realm, they have deeper and deeper dimensions, is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing all the way up to the 12th, all the way into the 12th dimension. 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, and maybe that's not even the limit, but that's how I'm metaphoring the idea of their vibration and their refinement, right? 12th dimension. And what is their connectivity to planet Earth? Well, they too are inseeded into the human race. They or let's put it this way, humans have a connectivity back to Andromeda. Many humans do, at the soul level. So it's almost like we can say we're Andromedan, but it's more like at the soul level. Whereas if we say we're Pleiadian, it's more at the DNA, like biological level, that we're Pleiadian. That's why we can feel them more strongly, and they can feel us. So if I go to our soul link, soul matrix in a positive way, matrix connection with Andromeda, what do I feel? I just feel a fine mesh of light. Of white light, light gold light. They're further into being light beings. Even then I sense the Pleiades are. The Pleiades are at a different vibration, a different dimension, a different energy signature we feel the Pleiades more as our mothers, many of us. I certainly do. And in terms of Andromeda, it's a realm of goodness. It is a realm of love and light, where the polarity is love and light and not good and evil. And yet they are affected and influenced by what happens in our dimension, in our realm, in our world. Does what happens here affect them? That's what I'm asking for information about. They're saying, well, yes, we're all interconnected. We all influence one another in one way or another. There's nothing that's separate. So the poke on the spider web over on the left is felt on the right. The stone that goes into the pond sends ripples out. Whatever metaphor you want to use, there is a lattice work, a positive type of net, let's say. Again, the net of Newt comes in strongly here as a metaphor of understanding the net of stars. So I'm asking, well, who in the Andromeda region am I connecting with? And they're like, well, you're connecting with your Agandra Terra Nova self, Agandra of the New Earth self. And all right, it's almost like, am I at a higher or deeper dimensional enough place to be able to see and know where in Andromeda I'm from, or where this transmission originates? And they're saying, well, it's a different thing. They're all interconnected. So Agandra is all of the Andromeda. There's no particular one place per se. It's all a collective. That's what you're starting to understand when you, crudely, you can understand it through families and the family tree. More spiritually, you can understand it through soul recognition of being the same soul family. Further on, telepathy, that you're connected telepathically, right? And so this is all the unity consciousness all the way into Andromeda, where it's everyone is everything. Everyone is part of the one. It's complete, almost unity merge, and yet there's some semblance of individuality around it. It's not, they haven't fully gone to the merge with the pleroma where everything's oneness and you completely lose your sense of personality matrix or identity. So, but they're more so in that direction of the oneness. So as Andromeda, I'm accessing all of their records that don't have to be from a particular location in Andromeda. It's all one location. Whereas in the Pleiades, there's step-down vibration, so it's almost more star-like, planet-like, locationally based, at least to our understanding or to my understanding. Well, I think Andromeda, and Andromeda is therefore one big being. It is a very, very big being. And I'm asking one big consciousness that, again, is itself a part of Source Creator, but it has its own flavor, its own kind of identity, but it is the collective of Andromeda. So if I look at, all right, the guide that a particular Andromedan channeler that I know of had, and the guide has a certain name. So what's going on there? Especially because I'm not always sure that the information coming through, well, the information coming through is a reflection of the quality of the heart and the healed space of the person. If the person is not healed into their joy space, then they will be transmitting distorted versions. It's like a radio frequency that is coming in patchily or in distorted ways. So we're all just doing the best we can, and we're all moving in the direction of the heart, of the love, of the light, of the open wisdom, of the connectivity, of the one within many, many within one. That e pluribus unum, it was a sort of a Pleiadian thing that did get through on our money. I mean, they bargained hard for that one, but now they're doing away with money. So, and it's about more than just the United States, right? In many we are one, in one we are many, right? That's the Pleiadian message and geometry and metaphor that's going through to help us understand and open our consciousness to these streams and be in these dimensions, you see. So I'm asking, are there any particular messages from beautiful Andromeda, this collective? She is one, she is many. And is there a message that they have for the community of people on Earth who will be hearing this transmission right now that they would like to come through? They're saying, we are pleased that so many of you are awakening now and becoming multidimensional and becoming beings of love and light that you are. There are bliss states beyond bliss states in the creation that are so beautiful and that are our birthright as well. And we are moving everything we need in directions and ways that we need to experience that universal bliss energy. For it's not even just you're co-creating new earth, but you're co-creating new universe. Through what you're going through on planet Earth, and that is how we are all affected. So your victories are everyone's victories, your healings are everyone's healings, your awakenings are everyone's awakenings. And of course the reverse is also true, but we're focusing upward now, we're focusing inward. This is at the innermost core. So if you want to find Andromeda, find her, find them within. And just feel your connection with those starry realms, with the energy of it as a consciousness. Not so much as a planetary, planetoid type of energy. Well, I give such thanks to Andromeda and the Andromedans, and I give such thanks to the Pleiades, the Seven Sisters, Electra, and the Electra world. I give such thanks to the Marys, Yeshua, and the Sophia Christic mission, all those involved, past, present, and future. And my prayer is that this transmission be of great benefit to whoever needs to hear it. and may all those people find it. Blessed be.